All right, welcome back. In other news, companies that you shouldn't invest in. Companies that you probably should not invest in. Let's talk about UPS and what's going on over there. We got a lot of job layoffs coming up, guys, which is why it's more important now than ever for you to build out a portfolio and invest in the stock market so that your money will go as far as you can take it, short of doing anything criminal, right? We need our money to stretch further and farther than it ever has before. People are losing their jobs left and right. You never know when it's your time to go. Let's get into it.
Base UPS is now announcing another round of job cuts affecting tens of thousands of positions. 11 Alive's Ariana Manise posted this video to explain what it means for customers and the company.
If you work for UPS, listen up. The Metro Atlanta-based shipping company announced it's eliminating 30,000 jobs. They say that these layoffs comes as it's winding down operations with Amazon and is part of a major turnaround plan. The cuts are expected to hit operational roles the hardest. In addition to these job cuts, UPS says it's also closing 24 buildings in the first half of this year and also pushing for more automation into its systems. UPS says many of the cuts will happen through attrition and another voluntary buyout for drivers. The Teamster Union is responding, saying UPS workers, quote, know their worth and expect the company to honor its contracts. Now, this round of cuts comes after the company eliminated 48,000 jobs last year. Now, despite all of this, UPS says this major turnaround plan seems to be working and investors seem to agree. UPS beat earnings expectations and shares jumped by 4%.
All right. Let me pull up UPS right now on stock analysis so we can get in before we get into it. Let me say this about UPS. 50,000 jobs cut in 2025, and they're about to cut another 30,000 in 2026. So we're talking upwards of 80 to 90,000 jobs cut, almost 100,000 jobs cut. Okay. Remember when last year UPS went on strike? You remember when they had that strike and I said, okay, be careful out there because this can go south really fast. Do you remember when the UPS workers went on that strike? And they ended up signing a contract and brokering a deal, right? And the deal was for them to get all of this money. They were going to get these huge raises, right? They were going to get these huge hourly rate raises. And it seemed like they had won, right? It seemed like UPS had won the war with, it seemed like UPS workers had won the war against their own company. And I said, okay, it may seem like you have won on the surface, but if I know anything about the corporate world, the company, the business will not lose. You will take the L before the company does. I promise you. And it wasn't me hating on them. It wasn't me hating on the UPS workers. It's not like I didn't want them to get the money that they felt like they were owed. It's just that I understand business, y'all. I worked for a Fortune 500 company for over 10 years. I was a manager for that company for 6 of those 10 years. I worked for Home Depot. And I was an operations, and I got promoted into an operations position where I worked there for 6 years until finally I was done with it because they would not pay me what I deserved. But I remember what it was like going into those meetings in those staff rooms. I remember what it was like having these store managers and the district managers come through and tell us about what was happening in the business. I remember what it was like when those same district managers also walked through the doors and laid off and fired the entire HR staff and told them that we were going to go from having one HR person appointed to every store to now just having one HR rep for an entire district of stores. I remember the day like it was yesterday. Listen, the goal is always the bottom line. The bottom line. Owners, the higher ups, the people in the really high positions that make all the money, that get paid out from all the bonuses, these are the people that's collecting 6 and 7 figures when we talk about real bonuses. When we talk about people making all the money, the people at the top, they don't care nothing about what's happening on the ground level in terms of how you feel about the company. What they care about are the numbers. Do the numbers make sense? Are the numbers matching up? Do the numbers equal a bonus for them? I'm telling y'all how it goes. Do not believe that because you have worked for a company for 25, 30, 35, 40 years, that it also equates to some type of loyalty from that company to you and a promise that they will always do right by you. Don't do it. Do not fall for it. I'm telling y'all now. Do not fall for it. I'm not telling you not to go to work and put your best foot forward and try to get to the highest point that you can. I'm not telling you not to go into work and look for promotions to get more money. I'm not telling you that. What I am telling you is to be smart about it. That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you to be smart about it and always understand that it's never personal. It's just business. The email that I have tied to my YouTube channels, one of them that I use is called itsjustbusiness@gmail.com. Do you know why that is? It's because that slogan is always in the back of my mind as a reminder of how the corporate world operates. They don't care nothing about y'all and how y'all. Listen, they don't care that they had to lay off Sally. They don't care that John is struggling to pay his mortgage now, and John is 53 years old, and as he should be focusing on retirement, John has got to figure out where else he's going to take up a part-time job at so that he can at least continue to afford to pay his mortgage. They don't care because it's never personal. It's just business, y'all. And the sooner you understand that, then the sooner you understand how you operate and move out here in the corporate world. You need to operate on the same way. Never take this personal. Never treat your job personal. All the extra stuff that you think you're doing to where you can get people to like you, cool. But never mistake that as a guarantee that you're going to be around for the long haul. Don't do it. Now, I got UPS pulled up right here. I invested in UPS probably about 5 years ago, and I was doing it through Cash App, and I was just throwing in a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there. But as I continued to watch UPS, as I continued to watch UPS and I continued to learn about the business, and I started to understand that mail delivery is a very, very competitive, fly-by-night kind of business. You know why? Because your competition is steep and constantly growing. What you all may have missed in that video is that Amazon, a lot of the UPS work was coming from Amazon. But if you've been paying attention to what Amazon has been doing, Amazon has listen, one of the first things that Amazon did when they started to grow their businesses, they said, you know what? We can probably cut out a lot of this middleman stuff if we just start delivering a lot of our packages ourselves. So you started to see Amazon vehicles and fleet vehicles pop up. Yes, UPS still delivers for Amazon, but it's not nearly the way it was before when Amazon did not have another source of their own to use as a delivery service. It's nowhere near it used to be. It's not just USPS and UPS anymore, y'all. When you have a company like Amazon, almost who is intending to cut out the middleman entirely. Make no mistake about it, that's their goal. Their goal is to cut out they want to streamline their process, and they want to also cut out the middleman so that, listen, we ain't got to pay UPS to deliver our packages no more. Everything, we're doing that all in-house now. This is why this is also part of why Amazon cannot fail, y'all. They're becoming a one world power right before our very eyes. In 50 to 100 years from now, I believe that Amazon will have destroyed and killed off tons and dozens of other multi-million to billion-dollar corporations. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I think that Amazon will be at the top of the food chain, and a lot of these other companies will have been either absorbed or destroyed entirely. Get down or lay down. It's either get down or lay down. What you want to do? You want to be bought out, or you want to go take your ball and go home with nothing? That's what I think is going to happen. We're watching it unfold right now. So these job layoffs are definitely tied to what Amazon is doing on their side of the business, because they're saying, listen, we don't need UPS like we did when we first started this venture. We don't need y'all like that no more. We have our own fleet vehicles. We have our own delivery service. We have our own, and we're constantly building. We're continuing to build. We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to expand. So when you look at UPS and you see that over the last 5 years, y'all, they are down 31%, then you start to understand what's going on when you parallel that with what's happening on within Amazon's business structure. Right? Makes all the sense in the world. By the way, I sold my stock. I sold my UPS stock years ago, and I'm glad I did. Completely got out of there, because once I understood that their competition was steep in that area, in that field, in that service, I was like, oh, there's no way that they can maintain this. There's no way that they can continue to substantially grow. Now, this was before I became a dividend investor. But I said to myself, even then, when I had very little knowledge of the stock market, I said there's no way that UPS can continue to compete on the level that they need to in order to substantially grow their business from this point. And turns out I was right. Because over the last 5 years, their stock is down 31%, y'all. Nearly 32% the stock is down, which means over the last 5 years, if you had invested in UPS, you haven't seen any growth at all. You've actually lost money. So going forward, listen, I'm not opposed to anybody investing in UPS that has them inside of a ETF, as part of an ETF or anything like that. But would I directly invest into UPS even now on the downside when they possibly stand to gain some upside? Nope. I'm staying far away. I'm cool. Let's go to the forecast and see what they had to say. They're saying that it's barely above a hold. So they give it, it does have a buy rating. Their price target on the high end is 147, which the stock is currently sitting at $105, with a price target of 113. Remember, and these analysts on these sites are just like you and I. They're just normal people that take in all this data, they plug it in, they come up with their numbers. This is what you get. 30,000 more jobs to be cut in 2026 for UPS. And guess what? It's only going to get worse from here. And Amazon is doing the same thing. They're cutting jobs as well. Do you know why? They want that bottom line to look spectacular, y'all. The biggest expense for a business is, guess what? The employees. Always remember that. So Amazon will be doing the same thing. They're already doing it. They're already trying to integrate more AI to figure out how to cut more jobs. So please, don't take this personal. Don't get tied into your job so much to the point to where you forget that it's just about business and has nothing to do with anything else. Please understand that. Drop a comment down below, y'all. Let me know what y'all think about it. Let me know if you invested in UPS. All right. I appreciate each and every one of you who've made it this far. I'll see you on the next video. Listen, stay on top of those portfolios. We're continuing to ascend. I just came up with a new method that I think that I'm going to use for the rest of this year as far as how I'm investing into my stocks. I'll go over that in one of the videos in the future and let you know exactly what I'm doing. But I'm spending probably about $170 right now currently every single week. Every single Monday, I deposit $170 into my dividend portfolio, and then I break that down into several different stocks that I want to invest in and that I invest in that I believe are going to give me the greatest result in the end game. But we'll go over that in a future video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Y'all take care. Continue to invest, y'all. I'll see y'all later.